The engine's dying cough echoed across the empty road like a wounded animal breaking the quiet of the golden evening. Dust curled in the air, and the sun cast long shadows over the cracked pavement. On that lonely highway, an old man with tired eyes and a faded arm, jacket knelt beside a gleaming motorcycle that refused to roar. Beside him crouched a biker built like a storm, tattoos crawling up his arm's leather. Vest worn from years of hard roads, and frustration etched deep into his face. No one expected these two worlds to collide. No one imagined what this small act of kindness would unleash. But this was the day everything changed for both men. If you believe small kindnesses still matter in this world, take a moment to like this video, share it, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps more people hear stories that remind us of what humanity can still be. Jack Turner, a 68-year-old Vietnam veteran, didn't plan to stop that afternoon. He had groceries in the back of his truck and aching knees that always acted up near sunset. But when he saw the biker kicking the side of his motorcycle in frustration, something in Jack felt familiar. Maybe it was the way the biker's eyes held too much pain, or the defeated slump in his shoulders. Jack had seen that look before on the faces of young soldiers who had lost more than battles. So Jack pulled over, stepped out, and asked if he needed a hand. The biker's name was Mason. He belonged to a notorious motorcycle club, and everything about him looked rough, dangerous, unapproachable. But as they worked side by side, Mason's tough exterior cracked in small ways. Jack noticed the tremble in his hands, the way he inhaled slowly before answering questions, the way he watched the horizon like he was waiting for trouble. Jack didn't push him. He knew a man didn't wear scars like that without a story behind them. The problem with the bike was simple: a jammed carburetor, clogged with dust and debris. But the real problem, the one that weighed Mason down, had nothing to do with engines. Jack didn't need details. He'd learned long ago that sometimes a man just needed silence, company, someone who wouldn't judge him for breaking down in the middle of nowhere. They worked together for nearly an hour, Jack guiding Mason with calm patience. Mason's frustration melted into relief as the engine finally roared back to life, vibrating with power. For a second, Mason just stared at the machine, his jaw clenched, eyes glossy in the fading sunlight. Jack recognized that look too, the gratitude a man doesn't know how to express. When Mason finally spoke, his voice was rough with emotion. He told Jack he wouldn't forget this, that Jack had shown him more kindness today than most people had in years. Jack just waved him off, said anyone would have done the same, though deep down he knew that wasn't true. Mason rode off into the darkening road, leaving Jack with the soft rumble of the motorcycle echoing behind him. Jack didn't think much of it afterward. He drove home, fed his dog, put away his groceries, and went to bed early. Life was simple like that, quiet, predictable, but the next morning, Jack's world shifted. He woke to the sound of engines. Not one, not 10 hundreds. The thunder rolled across the valley like a storm descending on his small farmhouse. Jack opened his door and froze. His gravel driveway, his yard, the entire stretch of road in front of his home was lined with motorcycles, row after row. The sun glinted off chrome and steel, and jackets, embroidered with skulls and wings, filled the landscape. At least 2,000 bikers stood there, in complete silence, all facing his porch. For a moment, Jack thought this was it, that something from Mason's world had followed him home, something dangerous. His heart hammered in his chest. But then the sea of bikers parted, and Mason stepped forward, no anger in his posture, no menace. Only a deep sincerity that made Jack blink in confusion. Mason explained, loud enough for everyone to hear, that Jack had saved him yesterday in more ways than one. Mason confessed that he had been on the edge of a bad place, mentally overwhelmed by mistakes, grief, and the crushing weight of hopelessness. When his bike had broken down, he'd seen it as a sign that life was done with him. Then Jack came along, a stranger who kneeled beside a broken man and didn't judge him. Mason had gone back to his club that night and told him everything. They decided no man so selfless should ever feel alone or unprotected. So they rode 2,000 strong to thank him. Jack stood there speechless as Mason handed him a leather vest, stitched with the club's emblem on the back. Not as a member, but as an honorary brother, a guardian, a man who, without knowing it, saved a life. Jack's eyes burned, his throat tightened. All these years he'd lived quietly, feeling forgotten by the world he once fought for. But now, staring at the sea of men who had rode miles just to honor him, he felt something he hadn't felt in decades: purpose, connection, family. The bikers spent the day repairing Jack's fence, repainting his porch, fixing his old truck, and stocking his pantry as if he were their own. Some sat with him and listened to his war stories. Others brought him homemade meals from their families. For the first time in years, laughter filled Jack's home. By evening, when the engines finally rumbled back to life and faded into the distance, Jack stood alone on his porch with the vest in hand, feeling the warmth of the sun and the warmth of something even stronger, human kindness returning full circle. And from that day on, Jack was never alone. Every few weeks, a small group of bikers would stop by, checking on him, bringing coffee, sitting with him on the porch. They protected him, honored him, and made sure he knew he mattered. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more real, human stories to the world. Before you go, comment below. Do you believe one act of kindness can change a life?